morning out there in Facebook Live land. I'm not sure if anyone is currently logged in yet. We will be starting at 9:30. So if you are out there, hi, welcome to the broadcast. Get your space set up. Hopefully a nice quiet little area, maybe um, in your living room. That way you can cast from your phone to your TV. If you have a smart TV, that way you can see it on a big screen. And we will be using bolsters and props today. So if you don't have a bolster, if you don't have a bolster, then you can use a couch cushion or um, a pillow or two pillows. You can roll them up. All right, we'll be starting in about 12 minutes. If you'd like to work, hi Martha. Yay! If you are working with, or you like to work with essential oils, um, I'm practicing today with a little bit of lavender and frankincense. It's nice to use essential oils, maybe some incense, light a little Nag Champa, set the mood, get your space, your physical space ready so that you can get your mental space ready. All right, I'll be checking back with you guys and gals in a few minutes. We got about 10 minutes to go. All right, we'll be doing a somewhat of a yin yasa restorative practice today. So we'll ground into our space. We'll move a little bit, get the blood flowing, get the heart rate up just a little bit, and then wind everything down with some restorative poses. That's why we'll need the bolsters. Okay, see you guys soon. Is that a really loud breath in your ears? Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Hi, Simona. Okay, Martha's, you're down? Okay, cool. I'm down. Okay, let's see. We have like 1 minute left. We'll start soon. Turn down this music. Hi, Simona. Okay, Martha. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Ah, this whole virtual um, online yoga thing can be a little, I don't know, it can be a little confusing. Let's just put it that way. Most of us are used to practicing in a studio, probably a lovely little space. We're all trying to find a way to bring our practice, our personal practice, into our home, which might mean that you're kind of fitting yourself into an awkward little space. But just remember that most of the work that we do when we're practicing yoga is about what's happening internally. And today's practice is not going to be too vigorous. It's more about, since it's early in the morning for those of us here in California, Simona, we have someone practicing with us today all the way in Italy. Yay! Um, anyway, so it's just mostly about um, getting into the body, getting the breath going today, and then we'll be doing some more yin restorative poses towards the end of class today. And it's just mostly about, oh, I'm grateful that you're joining in. It's just a chance for us to connect. I'm jobless right now. I'm on unemployment, waiting for my first unemployment check. Those of you that are fortunate enough to still be working during this pandemic, blessing to you. The rest of us who aren't working, we're trying to find a way to spend our time. And this is one of the things that we can do. We can unite ourselves digitally. Yes, there's a little time delay as I sit here in my backyard in San Diego, Mira Mesa, sending out this signal. There's a little time delay before it actually reaches you in your living room. But we're connected now, aren't we? Energy is just everywhere. And hopefully today, through our practice, we can maybe clear out some of the cobwebs in our chakra system, that swirling focal points of energy that reside in our body. Hopefully we can clear some of those blockages away. Maybe this time period that we have to spend in isolation is one where we can examine ourselves a little more deeply and figure out some things in life that maybe we didn't have an opportunity to figure out when things were normal. All right, let's get into our practice today. Hopefully you have your nice little space and you have your incense. I won't be playing music too loudly. I'll bring some music in, but keep it kind of soft. Let's make it to our mats. Mentioned before, beginning of this broadcast, any of you working with essential oils, it's always nice to light a little incense, a little Nag Champa, maybe to work with some incense, or not incense, essential oils. It kind of helps you to just connect in with your space, you know? You smell something or you hear something and it just triggers emotions or maybe feelings. And so if you can connect a certain smell with a certain activity, it kind of helps you get into that mode, that mindset a little easier. So I'm working with a little lavender and frankincense today. doTERRA, in case you're interested. All right, guys. Let's do what we came here to do. Let's do some yoga. We're going to start today in Sukhasana, easy pose. And just a little note here. I'm facing you right now, but obviously we're used to this being the front of my mat, our mats, and I'll pivot to face you in that direction. Pivot to face you The top of your mat is this way. I'm pivoting to face you so that you can see what I'm doing in the front. Sorry, little messages are popping up on the screen. Hi, Marta. Yes, everyone, I will put my Venmo address and my PayPal address up on the notes at the end of this broadcast. Donations are accepted, but definitely not required. Okay. Come to Sukhasana, nice little comfortable seat. Draw the palms to the thighs. Let's start with the palms flipped down, pressing into the thighs here. And before you close your eyes, just take a little moment here to notice your surroundings. If you're inside your living room or a space within your apartment or house, see if you can hear any of the pedestrian sounds that are occurring outside the windows. Many yogis, initially entering into a practice, think that we have to block all the outside world out. Unfortunately, that's almost impossible to do. It's much easier to take a different path, I think, and just accept what is occurring around us. Maybe the sounds of a bus, cars. If you're outside like me, maybe you're hearing the wind or the leaves rustling. I'm fortunate enough to hear a few birds. Just take note of what's happening around you. Now, draw that sensory awareness. Take that from outside of your little bubble, that's that little sphere of energy that's swirling around your body. Draw it into your bubble. Draw that awareness from outside the bubble into your bubble. What's happening in that sphere right around your body? Can you tap into that vibration of energy that's just humming above the surface of your skin, above your crown, to your side and frontal and back body? Sense any tightness or rigidness in the body, any areas of your body that seem a little unforgiving right now. Perhaps they're a little upset with you for sitting on the couch for 2 hours staring at TikToks. Or is that just me? All right, my friends. We've drawn the awareness from outside our bubble and into our physical body. Let's begin to manipulate the breath a little bit here. We'll start with a nice opening breath exercise. 5 breaths in through the nose and 5 open mouth exhalations. And it goes a little something like this. Two more. Last one. Wonderful. I'm going to change facings, my friends. We're going to start to add a little movement into the body now. Combine a nice breath in as you drop the hands to the side of your hips. Float the palms up overhead. Exhale, press the palms together and fold the thumbs and the fingers to the back of the spine. Pull the elbows nice and wide. Breathe here for a moment. Inhale, float the hands up overhead. Exhale, slide them down the front of the body. Bring the palms onto the mat. Send weight into the palms and then guide the knees back behind you. Coming into a nice tabletop already here. So drawing the palms underneath the shoulders and bringing the knees underneath the hip bones. Separating the knees about hip-width distance. Toes can be curled or uncurled. Siphon in a nice breath here as you dip the navel and lift the chin. Cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Round dome the upper spine. Gaze down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Excuse me. It's not COVID. It's just a dry mouth. Bring the big toes together to touch. Let the knees widen to the edge of your mat. Hips will come to settle on the heels, and the chest will start to fold down towards the mat as you glide the palms forward and allow your forehead to come down. And rest. Child's pose. 2 breaths here. Drawing that breath into the lungs, filling up the sides of the lungs, and the back and the front and the bottom and the tops of the lungs. Nice place to set any intention for yourself today. Taking a breath, lift yourself up, coming into a tabletop. Drawing the palms back underneath the shoulders and the knees back underneath the hips. So the lungs are full of a big breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Let the heels start to melt down energetically towards the mat. Finding a nice little bit of length through the upper body. Creating somewhat of an upside down V shape in the body. Always appropriate to place a slight micro bend into the knees here in order to help you find a little bit more length through the upper body here. Also an option to tread the legs out, bending the left knee and the right knee, taking your little dog for a walk. Keep treading out your legs. I'm going to add a little bit of music into our practice. From your down dog, start to send the heels down energetically. Receive a nice big breath. Send your gaze up to the top of your mat. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Walk the feet up behind the wrists. Keep a nice big bend in the knees here. Let the weight of the chest drape onto the thighs. Take your hands and lace them together behind the lower back, the lumbar spine area. Allow the forehead to hang down towards the shins. Lift the lace fingers up towards the sky, towards your beautiful popcorn ceiling. Breathe. Nice stretch through the shoulders, folding the chin towards the sternum, towards the chest, and maybe lifting the chin a few times, bobbing the head. Put a nice little bend into the elbows. Release the tension of the fingers. Let the hands fall down in front of the big toes. Taking a breath, halfway lift, hands slide to the shins, pressing the flat part of the head forward and the tailbone towards the back of your mat. Most likely, this is your first bit of movement for the day, so be gentle and kind to your body. We're not here today to do a power yoga section. We're here today to connect with each other, to connect into our bodies, to find a little normalcy in our daily pattern. We're not coming here to be Nadia Comaneci today. No need for that, my friends. Receive another breath. Exhale, forward fold. Fold in half. Bring the hands to the backs of your calves, or the backs of your heels. Gently use that as a little bit of leverage to fold the forehead down towards the shin, finding some length and a stretch through the back line of the legs. Do you feel as if you have enough blood flowing into your brain now that we've been folding forward for so long? All right, my friends, let's change positions. Taking a breath, Urdhva Hastasana, a nice slow roll to standing. We still have a wide set gait here with our feet separated. Float the palms up overhead. Bring the pinkies in towards each other and the palms towards the back of your mat. Exhale, Anuvasana, micro back bend. Press the palms together, lift the sternum, and then lean back. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, Samastitihi, standing at attention. Press the palms together and then draw the thumbs down to the center of the chest. Pull the elbows nice and wide. Breathe here for a moment. Stare out ahead. If you're staring at a blank wall, imagine that you're seeing your own self as if in a mirror. Smile at yourself. It's okay to have a little fun in yoga. Yeah. Release the hands to the side body. Breath in, float the hands up overhead. Breath out, fold forward. Palms come together at the chest, hinge from the hips, dive down and forward. We're going to start to pick up the pace a little bit here together, my friends. Bring the big toes together to kiss. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Lift the chest, send the tailbone down nice and low. Lift the arms. Breathe. Sit back into your chair a little bit lower as you breathe. Exhale, chair plane. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands overhead pose. Exhale, Anuvatasana, micro back bend. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, chair plane. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Anuvatasana. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, Dandasana, top of a high plank position. Plant the hands onto the mat. Step, hop, or walk the feet back behind you. Come to the top of a nice high plank position. So hands are underneath the shoulders. Feet are separated about hip width distance, or you can bring the toes a little bit together. Hips are in line with the shoulders and the heels. The belly button is being pulled and lifted away from the mat, tightening up through the core. A little mindfulness to the core area. All right, my friends. Breath in, shift weight forward. Breath out, shift weight back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right heel high. Exhale, step the foot through into a low lunge. Come down to the back left knee. Receive a breath as you lift the chest up. Float the palms up as well. Dragon's pose or supported lunge. Exhale, open arm twist to the right. Swing the right arm down and back. Open the chest to the side of your mat. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Back knee lifts. Right hand lifts up towards the clouds. Receive a breath. Open arm stretch to the right. Exhale. Bring the hand back down. Back knee comes down. Front right foot steps back. Tabletop. Receive a breath. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Left heel high. Exhale. Step the foot through into a low lunge. Come down to the back right knee. Take in a breath. Lift the chest. Lift the arms. Exhale. Open arm stretch to the left. Swing the left arm down and back. Hi. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Back right knee lifts. Take in a breath. Left hand floats up towards the clouds. Open arm stretch to the left. That should feel lovely in the body. Bringing the left hand back down. Back knee comes back down. Left foot steps back. Big breath in. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot high. Exhale, step the foot through into a low lunge. Breath in, lift up, crescent lunge, Anjayanasana. So very similar to the last pose that we did, except this time the back knee is lifted. So weight is dived into that front right foot. You can bring your hands to your hips here to bring mindfulness to where the hips are squared. They should be squared to the front of your mat. A little bend in this back left knee, perfectly acceptable here. Right heel stacked over the ball mound of the foot. And when you're ready, float both hands up nice and high. We're going to create a little flow here. I'm going to set it up one time. We're going to flow it a second time, and then we're going to get into our yin and restorative poses. So as I said today, not a vigorous practice, just kind of a good morning, wake up, how you doing kind of practice. All right, now that we've held crescent lunge for so long, take in a breath. Exhale, open arm stretch to the right, swing the right arm down and back. Open your chest to the side wall. Can you see that cat all the way back there in my yard? He's watching our practice. Inhale, come back to center, lift the hands nice and high. Exhale, plant the back foot down onto the ground, warrior one. Bring the hands down to the hips. I want you to feel the distinct difference here in Warrior One, where our hips and our shoulders are squared to the front of our mat. So here in Warrior One, as we bring that sole and the heel down onto the mat, maybe you bring the foot forward a little bit and out to the side just a little bit in order to bring that left hip bone forward, squaring the hips and the shoulders to the front of your mat. Okay? Taking a breath. Exhale, Warrior Two. Now we're going to open up to Warrior Two. So an adjustment happens in this back foot. Maybe it goes back a little further. Weight is still in this front leg. Now the chest and the hips are open to the side of your mat. That's Warrior Two. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Right arm down, left arm up, side body opening stretch here. Breathe. Here we go, lift, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the arms up, over, down to the ground. Step the front foot back. Option to move through a chaturanga here. Those of you who are not aware of what a chaturanga is, it's like the yogi push-up. So here we are in Dandasana. If you're going to move into a chaturanga, you lower yourself down only halfway, pinning the elbows nice and close to the side body. Then you uncurl the shoelace side of the feet, taking a breath, lift the chest through the forearms, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay? Always an option to skip the chaturanga. You can press back from Dandasana into a tabletop and then lift up into a downward facing dog. Or you can skip it altogether and just press into a downward facing dog. All right, here we are in downward facing dog together. Breath in, left foot high. Exhale, step the foot through into a low lunge. Breath in, lift up, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. So this is what we did on the other side. Front knee stacked over the ankle. Back heel lifted, stacked over the ball mat of the foot. A slight little micro bend in this right knee helps to maybe push that right hip bone forward. We're squaring our hips and our shoulders to the front of the mat. Receive a breath. Hands float up nice and high. Exhale, open arm stretch to the left. Swing the left arm down and back. This is a balance and an opening through the chest. Inhale, come back to center. Lift the hands nice and high. Exhale, warrior one. Plant that back foot down onto the ground. Bring your hands down to your hips, squaring the hips and the shoulders to the front of the mat. Spend a little time on the other side, cueing this pose. So let's take a little bit of time on this side as well. Maybe that back foot needs to step out to the side or forward a little bit. Hands float up nice and high. Receive a breath. Exhale. Warrior two. Obviously, United Airlines did not receive my yoga schedule today when I told them not to fly over my house during my class. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we are. Warrior two. Breath in. Breath out. Here we go. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale. Warrior two. Breath in, reach forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Left arm down. Right arm up. Or you can rest the elbow on a knee here. We're not staying here that long. Here we go. Lift up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge, cartwheel the arms up, over, down to the ground. Front left foot steps back. Here we go. Chaturanga. Breath in, upward facing dog. Breath out, downward facing dog. You ready to flow that? One side or one time each side. Here we go. Inhale, right foot high. Exhale, step the foot through low lunge. Breath in, lift up, crescent lunge. Breath out, open arm stretch to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, warrior one. Breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Cartwheel the arms up, over, down to the ground. Front foot steps back. Now, if you want to skip the chaturanga, just press back into a downward facing dog. If you want to take some of the weight out of the chaturanga, come down to your knees and lower yourself down halfway. Then take a breath, come into upward facing dog. Several options there. We all meet in down dog together. We all here? Okay, here we go. Inhale, left foot high. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Breath in, lift up, crescent lunge. Anjaneyasana. Breath out, open arm stretch to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, plant the back foot down onto the ground, warrior one. Breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Arms cartwheel up, over, down to the ground. Chaturanga. Breath in, gaze up, top of your mat. Exhale, step, hop, float, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, chair plane. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Anuvatasana, micro back bend. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands overhead pose. Exhale, Samastitihi, standing at attention. Let's try some balancing poses here. Here you are at the top of your mat. Burst balancing pose. Hands come to the side body. One-legged Tadasana. Lift the right knee to hip level. One-legged mountain pose. So here the knee is right at hip level. Kick, extend the leg out as much as you can. And then see how high you can lift the foot, how high you can lift the heel. If you'd like to, you can bring a hand underneath the thigh or underneath the back of the knee and see how much height you can get in the leg. Balance here for a moment. Breath in. Exhale. Release the knee. Yes, that was a burp. Sorry. Oops. Left knee lifts. One-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose. Breath in, extend the leg. My hamstrings are so tight. I've been riding my bicycle a lot lately, so maybe your hamstrings are a little tight too. Taking a breath. Exhale, bend, and release. Dancer's pose. Fold the right heel to the back of the tailbone. Reach for the inside arch of the foot. Left hand can come up nice and high as a counterbalance. Stay right here. This is dancer's pose. If you would like to take it into an exalted dancer's, start to cascade the chest forward, lifting the back thigh. It's a closed hip balancing pose. As you reach forward, pull the flat part of your foot to the back of your head. Breathe and balance. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. Whew. Practicing today on 2 little cushions plus my mat, so it's a little hard for me to sense the ground here. Maybe you're having a little trouble as well in your living room next to your potted plants, and maybe your cat staring at you like, what are you doing? All right, warrior dog. Dancer's pose, other side. Enough jokes, David. Fold the left heel towards the tailbone. Reach for the inside arch of the left foot. Right hand comes up nice and high this time as a counterbalance. You can stay right here. This is a wonderful test of your balance. But if you're feeling like this is not enough of a challenge for you, take it to another level. Something I recommend is putting maybe a slight little micro bend in the knee. That can help you to stabilize. As you tilt this chest forward, pull that flat part of your foot to the back of the head. Close the left hip though. Don't open the hip. Close it. It's a closed hip balancing pose. Breath in. Breath out. Lift back up. Release the foot. Last little balancing pose here. I'm changing my facing. No need for you to change your facing. Tree pose Vrikshasana. Bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the upper thigh, or maybe to the calf, or maybe today you just need to do a little kickstand. Maybe you're just feeling a little wobbly. It's okay. No judgment. Just observation. You'd like to grow your branches? That's something powerful to think about right now. If there is actually anyone practicing with me right now on live Facebook, we could potentially be practicing together here in the United States and Italy if Simona's still practicing with us. So it's all these trees growing together in the universe at the same time. Isn't that awesome? I don't know, I thought it was awesome. Breath in, exhale, release. Tree pose, Vrikshasana, other side. Sole of the left foot comes into the thigh. Finding a little balance as we move into our second month of quarantine. What an equalizer this pandemic has been. Grow your branches. Maybe you want to get a little fancy. Put a little Mother Gaia or Shiva pose into your fingers. Also considered a mudra. Thousands and thousands of mudras. All right, draw everything back into the midline. Receive a breath and release. Okay, hopefully you got your heart rate up just a little bit. I can definitely do more of a vinyasa power flow, but that's not what I was wanting to achieve today. We got the blood rate going a little bit. Now we're going to move into a little bit more some restorative and yin poses. For any of those of you interested, I have just newly been certified in yin yoga. If you're not fully aware of what the difference between is, yin yoga is essentially fewer poses held longer if you compare it to a power hatha vinyasa practice. Restorative is basically yin with props. That's a very simple way of explaining it. We're going to start today opening the chest a little bit. So bring the bolster to the top of your mat and lay it lengthwise. Now again, if you're not working with a bolster, you don't have a bolster available, don't order one on Amazon because apparently that's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks. Just go to your couch, grab a couch cushion, one that's relatively firm to hold the body weight, or you can grab a pillow and double it up if you roll it lengthwise. So we're going to come into a pose here. Now, there's always an option to put the bolster aside and do these poses without a prop. So I'm going to show you, demonstrate first with a prop. So come onto your chest, bring the legs out nice and long, and then make 11s with the forearms. Pull the bolster in nice and snug underneath the chest. We're coming into a supported Sphinx pose here. Okay? So the elbows are pulled in nice and snug to the side body, not to the side body, to the front of your chest. Palms are spread nice and wide, and this is called Sphinx pose. Nice little release for the lower back. Now, as I said, we're going to start to hold poses a lot longer. If you are someone who, without taking any caffeine into your system, tends to idle high, it might be a little uncomfortable for you to begin practicing yin poses, where you have to sit in the same pose for an extended period of time. And if you are one of those people, maybe this is something that you need to work on, or something that you would like to explore. Now, if you're someone that kind of tends to idle a little low, a yin practice may just put you back into a nap, and that's okay too. There's definitely a benefit to practicing poses and holding them a little bit longer. It allows the fascia tissue to reach that point where it starts to maybe open up, give way a little bit, reformat itself. It takes a little bit of time to get into that. Now, if you want to get into Sphinx pose without the bolster, definitely becomes a little more work in the body because you're actually propping the weight of your upper body up with your own arms. So you might start to feel it a little in the shoulders. Here in Sphinx pose, you can allow the chin to drop down towards the chest, finding a nice little stretch through the cervical spine. And never forget, my friends, the breath. How's the breath doing right now? Take 2 more breaths here. All right. Allow the chest to come down all the way to the mat. Remove the bolster from underneath you. Arms come to the side body. Turn your chin to the right and allow the left ear to come down onto the mat. 2 breaths here. Just a resting pose. Lift the chin. Bring the chin to the left side of your mat. Right earlobe will rest onto the mat. Equal love for both sides of the neck. 2 breaths here. All right, come back to center. Make a giant V with your hands. So reach your arms out like kind of like a giant capital V. Now, as you start to lift the chest, as we do in Cobra, as we do in Sphinx, the hands will start to come towards the shoulders. Use the palms pressing into the mat to lift the chest up. Seal pose. Now you can come into a version of this with a prop. Again, just bringing the bolster underneath the chest gives a little bit of support under in there and takes some of the weight out of the palms and in the arms. Should definitely feel this in the lower back area. Probably shouldn't say things like, you should definitely feel. Who am I to say? Hopefully, you're feeling this in your lower back area. Send some love and some light and some energy into that area as you breathe. Two more breaths. Allow the chest to come back down. Take the tension out of the arms. You can set your bolster to the side for a moment. Allow the chest to come all the way down to the mat and draw the palms right by the shoulders. Magnetize your elbows into the side body. Expel all the air out of your lungs. Release it. Let it go. Inhale, Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. Peel the chest away from the ground. Feel the work that you're doing in the abdominal area to help lift you. Mindfulness to the work that's happening in the lower back that's helping to lift you up. As you continue to breathe, we have not lowered down yet, my friends. Remove the hands from the sides of the shoulders and extend them out nice and wide to the side like a giant capital T. Keep breathing. Lift the thighs now. Lift everything away from the ground that you can. Breathe. Draw in a nice big gulp of air. Exhale. Let everything come down. Palms come by the shoulders. Press into the mat. Lift yourself up. Come to standing on the knees. Hands come to the lower back area. Fingertips down, thumbs out. Taking a breath. Exhale, Ustrasana, camel pose. Just gently press the hips forward. Lift the sternum and lean back. If it's within your practice, you can reach for the heels here. Taking a couple breaths. Coming back up. Letting the hips settle on top of the heels. Pull the knees in nice and snug. The inner thighs. Bring the hands to the tops of the thighs here. If you find that this posture is uncomfortable or not accessible, always an option to utilize a block underneath the tailbone, either on the low setting or the high setting. You can also prop a bolster underneath you as well, in between the heels and the hips. Whatever form your posture is taking in this moment, close your eyes. Sense back into the body. Gauge that vibration of energy that's humming into your body, humming through your body right now. All right. Come onto your tailbone. I'm going to change my facing here. Moving into a half butterfly. So take the sole of the left foot and bring it into the inside of the right thigh. And you're going to pivot to face this right foot with a bolster. You can take the bolster, put it on top of the leg, and fold yourself down. You can cross it over lengthwise like this. If you're working with blocks and bolsters, you can set up a little bridge for yourself here, 2 blocks on either side of the leg, just allowing the chest to hang here, getting a stretch through the leg and through the shoulders, but taking some of the tension away from the back muscles. That's a supported version. Now as you wind the forehead down towards the shin, you can put a slight little micro bend into the knee here, taking away some of the tension in the leg and allowing you to feel the stretch a little more isolated in the upper body. Going to be here for several breaths, my friends. So settle into your space. Start to clear some of that chatter that may be happening in the mind. And the way to clear it is just acknowledge it. What are you thinking about right now? If there's some thought pattern that keeps repeating itself in your brain, even while we're practicing, then that's significant. It's okay. Acknowledge it. After you have acknowledged it, see if you can move your mindfulness back to the breath. Maybe close your eyes. Are you seeing any colors right now? Those of you still practicing with me, we're still on our first side. 3 more breaths. It's starting to warm up here. The sun is coming out, clouds are clearing. Last breath. Start to roll yourself back up. Before we move on to the other side, bring both feet onto the mat. And then just let the knees kind of windshield wiper from one side to the other. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing okay. If there's anyone still out there, can never tell. Let's move to the second side. So this time extend the left leg out nice and long. Tuck the sole of the right foot into the thigh. Pivot the chest to face that foot just slightly. And then I'll demonstrate here some supportive versions of this. You can bring the bolster a little lengthwise. And maybe that's not high enough for you. Maybe you need 2 bolsters. And if you're working with 2 bolsters and you're saying, oh, come on, David, I'm not doing anything now. Yes, you are, my friend. If you need 2 bolsters to support you and feel so allowing yourself to feel a little more passive in the stretch, then do it. Bring the 2 bolsters in. It's not a handicap. It's making your practice work for you. Another version of support here is to bring 2 blocks as such, stacking the bolster on top of that way, and then allowing the chest to come down. So this takes some of the the strain of holding yourself up. And you're still getting a stretch in the lower back, and then definitely getting a stretch in the leg as well. The only thing you need to worry about is nothing. There's nothing to worry about, my friend. The only thing you need to focus on is your breath, really. The rest will just kind of fall into place. Just think about how wonderful the rest of your day will be now that you took a little time to carve out a practice of yoga for yourself. No matter what else you do today, at least you can carry this sense of accomplishment with you for the rest of the day. Even if you just go back to watching Ozark on Netflix, it's okay. Couple more breaths here, my friend. Still with me? Okay. Start to roll back up. Soles of the feet come onto the mat. Hands come by the sides of the hips. Rather than a windshield wiper, we're going to do a reverse tabletop here. So the hands are right by the hips. Taking a breath. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling or towards the sky. Reverse tabletop pose. Exhale, bring the hips back down. Okay. A couple options here. Again, for the lower back, I'm switching my facing here. No need for you to switch your facing. Just need a little bit more room on the mat here. So, option number one. In a traditional practice, or yang practice, this is called Paschimottanasana. In a yin practice, we refer to it as caterpillar pose. Either way, you can work your props into this again. A couple different ways you can do it. You can bring a bolster underneath the tailbone, which kind of helps lift and tilt you forward, which might make this folding process a little more accessible. You can also use a bolster underneath it, underneath the chest. I have a fellow teacher that I practice with at Sojourn Healing Collective. And I love seeing some of her posts. Kaylee Averman, she's got blankets wrapped around her and props everywhere. It's just amazing because she just looks like she's nestled in this little cocoon. And really, that's the way your practice can be, using props for yourself. Really utilizing the props to help make your practice more enjoyable and comfortable to you and more accessible. I just think that's a lovely way to go at it. Plus, it just looks so snuggly. So here we are in caterpillar pose, demonstrating the use of a prop underneath the tailbone, underneath here. As always, if you know these poses already and you don't need someone to demonstrate them for you, you can move right into them and then just start accessing the breath. Okay. So if you don't have the bolster underneath the tailbone, you can use it as so to wind yourself down. Also, another option to bring it underneath the knees. This definitely, oh, that feels lovely, taking away some of the tension. And then just folding forward. And since you're hanging out here, kind of lift the chest and the stomach and lay it down on the thighs. And then as you breathe, and relax passively into the stretch here, see how much more length you find, how much more release you're able to access. For anyone that might be joining in with me right now, I have not left you, not abandoned you. We've moved into the yin restorative part of our practice today, so we're holding poses a little bit longer, just settling into the breath. Sending out those little tendrils of energy, connecting with Marta and connecting with Simona, connecting with anyone else that may have joined into our practice today, Christina, tethering ourselves with universal energy, hopefully increasing and elevating that positivity vibration. We will make it through this time period, my friends. Three more breaths here in Caterpillar Paschimottanasana, however you wish to refer to it. One more big breath here. Start to unroll. Bring the hands by the sides of your hips. Receive a breath and lift the hips up towards the sky, towards the ceiling, as your heels kind of edge out away from you. Reverse plank pose. Exhale, let the hips come back down. Go ahead and come down onto your back. Okay. Now, this is where I must give you a public service announcement. If you fall asleep now, in the middle of the remainder of our practice, it's okay. This is Facebook Live, so no one can actually see you. So if you start drooling on yourself and fall asleep for half an hour after we're all done, it's okay. Just send me a picture of the drool spot. Just kidding, my friends. My point is that things can get a little relaxing now that we're laying on our backs. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. Start to nap a little bit. Definitely some benefit happening. So here we are on our backs. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So reach for your bolster. Flat part of the feet are on the mat, separated at about hip width distance. Arms are along the side body. We're going to receive a breath, lift the hips up, and then slide the bolster underneath the sacrum, underneath the back of your hips, and then let the hips settle back down on top of the bolster. Now, for those of you who are astute yogis, I'm sure that you can do a bridge pose that looks a little more advanced. In other words, you can lift your hips a little higher. It's not what we're working for right here. We did a few back bends and a few lower back stretches. And we're accessing that same area now with a little bit of support. So this is a supported bridge pose. And these are always just suggestions. You can remove the bolster if that is not something you want to work with today. Just breathe, my friends. Long, slow breaths. In and out. Inviting fresh, vital energy into the body to clear out that old, stagnant energy that's no longer needed. Send it back out into the universe. Let it be recycled into something more vibrant and necessary. Energy never dies, my friends. But perhaps we can manipulate it into a vibration that is more conducive and beneficial to the beings that exist on this planet. Receive a breath. Lift both feet up towards the sky. Energetically press the heels up towards the clouds and wind the toes towards the forehead. Virtual legs at the wall on our virtual yoga class. It's a wonderful pose to actually do against a wall, my friends. All right. Slowly bend the legs. And then walk the feet out nice and long. Bring the heels onto the mat. So you're in somewhat of a Shavasana pose here, but with a little bit of a lift underneath the pelvis. You should perhaps feel an isolation of stretch in the lower back. You can lift the arms up overhead like a good morning stretch here. Take a couple breaths. Wonderful. Bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. Press into the mat, lift the hips up, slide the bolster out from underneath you. Set it to the side. Draw both knees in nice and tight to the chest. Wrap the arms around the tops of the shins. Expel all the air out of your lungs. Full wind removing pose. Flex the feet. Slowly let the knees widen out to the side. Energetically, stamp the flat part of your feet up towards the sky above you. You can reach for the ankles, the outside arches of your feet, the toes, your calves, whatever's accessible. Happy baby. Happy baby. Ananda Balasana. A little rock from side to side here. Come back to center. Draw both knees in towards the chest. Align one of your bolsters on the right side of your mat. As the knees are drawn in nice and close to your chest, receive a breath. Exhale, supine twist. Release both shins over to the right. Let them come to rest comfortably on top of your bolster. Or if you're not working with a bolster today, let the shins come fully down onto the ground, onto the mat. Your right hand can rest on the top of the left knee for a little bit more of support or leverage. Left shoulder blade should be resting on the mat or dreaming of the day when it makes it to its rest on the mat. Chin can be towards the left shoulder, can be straight up towards the right shoulder. Just bring some love and kindness to the cervical spine. We tend to be a little abusive of that area of our body. Take it for granted the amount of weight in our skull that our little neck is holding up. Supine twist. Breathe into the lower back. Love and kindness, openness and awareness. Three more breaths, my love. Alrighty. Slowly untwist. Bring the knees to center. And then let the soles of the feet come down onto the mat. Separate the feet hip width distance. A non-supported bridge pose. Take in a breath. Lift the hips up towards the sky. Reset the back. Lovely. Hips come back down. Reach for the support of your bolster. Bring it to the opposite side of your mat. Left side of your mat. Knees come into the chest. Receive a breath. Exhale, supine twist, other side. Shins come onto the bolster. Left hand rests on top of the right knee. Right shoulder blade unfolds and rests onto the mat. Gaze up, gaze to the right, gaze to the left. Just love your cervical spine. Three more breaths. Slowly untwist. Send the legs out nice and long. We're going to come into a little starfish pose here, so open the legs out nice and wide. Bring your arms up overhead if you have the space. Hopefully you do. If not, you can goalpost the arms, but make a star shape with the body here. Patrick Starfish. Just breathe here. Find the rebound of energy. Draw everything into center. Draw the knees into the chest. We're going to come into a snail pose here or a plow pose. If you find that that's not within your practice, you can just stay here with knees at the chest. Those of us working into snail pose or plow pose, lift both feet up towards the sky, and then lift the sacrum away from the ground. Hands can come underneath the back of the hips, underneath the sacrum. The feet will come to rest on the mat above your head, or maybe working towards that direction. This is something that feels a little too strenuous in your neck. Just stay here with knees at the chest, or you can come into a happy baby. If you're in snail pose, 3 more breaths. Start to lift up. Roll yourself up to a seat. 3 more poses. Shoelace pose, once on each side, and then we'll move on to our backs for our final resting pose. Shoelace pose, cross the right leg over the left, stacking the right knee on top of the left knee. Receiving a breath. And then folding, rounding forward. Always an option to utilize the bolster here underneath the chest for a little bit of support. Also an option to utilize blocks as well here in shoelace pose. Bring it underneath the hip for a little bit of support here. So I'm wedging it underneath the hip here, or you can prop it up under the leg here. Options for your support. All right. Start to roll yourselves back up. Just checked in with the time. If there's anyone still practicing with me, I'm aware that it's 10:30. So we'll just kind of move through our final shoelace pose and then move into our Shavasana if you're still practicing with me. Namaste. Thank you for staying with me. So here in shoelace on the other side, cross that left knee over to the right. Sorry if I pulled you out of shoelace a little too quickly. I love you. I lost track of the time. Fold and round forward, coming into shoelace on the other side. Two more breaths. All right, my friends, start to unroll, moving into our final resting posture today. If you're working with a bolster today, bring it to the top of your mat. Lay it nice and long. Snuggle the back of your hips up against the bolster, and then lay your back down onto the bolster so that it's resting right in between your two shoulder blades, and then the back of the head is resting underneath the back of the skull. The bolster is resting underneath the back of the skull. So your option here, you can stay here in a fish pose, supported fish pose, or you can come into a supported Supta Baddha Konasana by bringing the soles of the feet together and snuggling the heels up nice and close to the tailbone. Knees open up wide to the side. Arms are along the side body. Bring yourself into your final resting pose. Let's just be here for one more minute together, even if it's digitally. My name is David. Thank you to all of you who joined with me to practice today. I'm going to try and make this a regular thing. Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m., Sundays, 5:30 p.m. Donations are accepted but not required. I'll post my Venmo address. I believe it's just at David R. Miranda, or you can also pay me through PayPal, or if we're connected on Facebook, you can pay me right through Messenger. But again, not required. It was just lovely to connect energy with all of you today. Share this post with your friends. Have them add me on Facebook if they'd like to join in. I hope you have a lovely day. We will make it through this. Comments, suggestions, totally accepted. Likes and hearts, loved and enjoyed. Have a beautiful rest of your day. May you be well. And may you share this positive energy that you have crafted today with intention with someone else in your life that you love. Be well, my friends. Namaste.